Please take your seats. We're about to begin. Please take your seats. We're about to begin. Please take your seats. We're about to begin. Please welcome your host, Jason Feifer, Editor-in-Chief of Entrepreneur Magazine.
Hey, everybody. Hey, thank you so much for being here. Again, my name is Jason Feifer. I'm the Editor-in-Chief of Entrepreneur Magazine. I'm really delighted and honored to be here emceeing this event for Wix, where they have some really great news to share. I am not going to be the one to reveal it up here myself, but I do want to say that I was super delighted when Wix had asked me to do this, because I am, in fact, a Wix user. And the way that I came to Wix was a little like this. I think it's a fairly common way that people come to Wix, is that I had a website before. I had built it basically myself using a really, really old program. And it was it was garbage. It was a terrible website. I actually showed it to some of the folks at Wix yesterday, and they laughed at me. It looked like, you know how, remember the old design of Reddit? It looked like that, but worse. It was like a website for people who don't like to look at things. And by the way, not to add competition to Wix, but if anybody wants a really terrible website, you can come up to me afterwards. We can talk. I can design something for you. So I had that work. It worked fine for a little bit because I didn't need it for that much. I wasn't like operating a business or anything like that. But then I got this new job as editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur, and people just started telling me, you need a better website. First of all, this is kind of embarrassing for you, but also you have new things to connect and sell, frankly, to people. And so I started looking around. I don't know how to build a website. This is such an intimidating part of this process. And so I looked around, and a lot of websites were recommending Wix. I checked it out, and I gotta say, over the course of about a week, between the hours of like 6:30 and 7:30 a.m. while my kid was off playing, I'd be like, here's a video. I'm working on a website. Over the course of about a week, I built something that I thought was pretty great. And I'm not going to share that with you either because that is going to come later. There's all sorts of stuff that's about to come. But first, before we get into anything, I want to show you this video.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mark Toulouse, Chairman of Wix, and Avishai Abrahami, Co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of Wix.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Avishai and the entire Wix team, we'd like to thank you for spending a couple hours of your time with us this evening. I've got to tell you, I'm extremely excited to be here today, Avishai. I've been waiting for this moment for a number of years, hassling Avishai and his team about building a product like the one you're going to see. And so now, well, that was a pretty cool video, and it kind of gives you an extent of what we're doing. And I sometimes like to think back and look at where we came from, right? We started off as just a website builder, and now it's so much more. We've extended the features, the functionalities, the tools, and it's so much more of a rich offering today. And that video showed a number of things. So, Avishai, why don't you take us through some of the things that we saw that are tools and things that we've added over the last few years?
Well, thank you, Mark. And, well, as you said, the core of Wix has always been the ability to create beautiful websites, right? The goal was to create stunning websites. But over the year, we evolved, right? And now we're allowing people to do so much more with their websites. If you take an example, right, the music festival, and it's so much more than just a website, right? You can actually share videos, you can do live streaming, you can sell tickets, and you can collect RSVPs, right? If you look at the pastry studio, well, again, they can show in a beautiful way all of their offerings, but they can actually offer classes. They can schedule workshops. They can sell one-on-one sessions. And again, all of it from the Wix websites. The fashion store is another example. You have a beautiful layout to show your products, and then a full shopping cart that you can actually sell your product and transact. And all of the business logic is run from Wix.
Yeah, we've really come a long way since the company was started. And what amazes me is just the breadth of what we've been able to develop, the number of tools that we've brought to bear. And frankly, I don't think most people truly understand the depth of what Wix can do today. You know, whether you're talking about the app market, some of those apps are ours, some of those are third party. Whether you think about the very deep, the depth of the editor that we have, ADI, which we launched a couple years ago, and of course, if all of that wasn't enough, last year we decided that we would launch a product called Code, and Code had as an objective to really broaden again the full stack of what Wix was doing. Could you perhaps give us just a little update today about Code and what you've been seeing there?
Of course, so we thought about doing Wix Code because our users have always been limited by what we built, right? So if we didn't build something, our users could never have used it, right? It was not available on Wix. So we thought about, well, what happens if we allow them to program into Wix and basically remove every limitation? Because everything they can code, they'll be able to do on Wix. We launched the product about 9 months ago, and today we have about 500,000 users using Wix Code and about 100,000 software developers coding into Wix Code, which is incredible, right? It's been a massive success.
Wow. And so if we can't invent it, you can. So do please go to Wix Code and try it out. It's a fabulous product for ourselves. And you know, and this makes me think about one of my great anxieties, and that is the anxiety of being hacked. Right? I worry about this a lot, and of course, I have no idea how to combat this. So tell me a bit about what you've done around security and to make this a much better experience for our users.
So the architecture of Wix is very different than the architecture of most of our competitors. So let's say you want to build a WordPress or a Drupal website, right? You need to rent a server from some hosting company. On top of that, you have to install WordPress, and then you have to install the plugins. And then you have to start to maintain that, right? You have to install security patches on a daily basis for the server, for the WordPress, and then for each one of the plugins. You have to continuously monitor that, right? And it's a lot of work, and it's very hard to do. And even if you miss one detail, your website is now open for hackers. Wix's architecture is very different. We maintain everything on our servers, on our platform, right? So we do all of those things for you, right? And in fact, we don't even give the source code. So nobody can go around and actually look at the source code and say, oh, here there is a security vulnerability. I'm going to hack for that, because that's not available. Another thing that we do is that we regularly hire hackers.
Hackers?
Yes, hackers, to try and hack into Wix websites. And then if they're successful, we ask them how they did it, and then we fix it. So we always invest in making your website super secure.
Right, so the way I like to think about it is the Wix platform allows our users to do what they're really good at, that is deliver products and services, and it forces Wix to do the things that you don't want to do, and security is a perfect example about that, yeah. So you know, Jason's site, you met Jason a few minutes ago, and Jason is a perfect example of the journey that a Wix user has traveled. Starting off by building a basic website, then adding a number of our tool sets to it and making it a more complex, more transactional site. You know, perhaps you can tell us a bit and address some of the issues, some of the things that he's put on his website that we've come up with recently.
Of course, so the website actually started, right, as a basic portfolio website where he tells about himself, about what he's doing. With Wix, he's added Wix video, so he can show videos of how he works and what he's doing.
Okay.
A podcast, so people can follow him and listen to new things that he's presenting. And of course, Wix booking, so he can schedule workshops, one-on-one sessions, and everything else he wants. Recently, he also released a book, right? And that's also is available from the website. So in many ways, the website, right, has moved from being a portfolio to being the hub of his business, right? The center of what he presents and offers.
Yeah, and Jason's experience is very much in line with what we're seeing many of our users do. Start off with a website and add all these things and make it richer and more transactional. And I think it illustrates where Wix came from. As we provided this platform, we allowed our users to create a bunch of cool stuff. And while creation is fantastic, I know small businesses have this anxiety of, that's great to create, but how do I get people to my site? Right? It's like when I open a store, ultimately I do need to have people walk into it. And how do I make money from my site? And while our vision and our strategy has been focused on the creation part, I'm not sure we've really solved the bringing people to the site and making money yet, or have we, Avishai?
So I believe we solved that. And this is exactly why we are here today. For the first time, we have a way for small businesses to bring more customers to their sites, communicating with those customers in a better way, and grow their business. Let me show you how.
Cool. Yes, Wix Ascend, the product of my dreams. One place to run your entire business from, and that's what we're talking about with you here today. And on top of the products, it's also business logic, because we recognize that small businesses, they really want to be able to run their businesses like larger ones. And so we've distilled the logic of large companies, brought it into a product that we call Ascend. And I just like to think of Ascend as really four things. One is, how do you connect with your users? How do you manage your business? How do you promote? And how do you make more money? So Avishai, tell us a little more about that.
So we took what would normally be 20 different products.
20 products.
Yes, and we've integrated them into one consistent experience.
Wow.
Right? I believe nobody else in the world has something similar to this. Right? It is a one-stop shop to run your business.
That's really cool. So we're going to show you a video. Check it out. What we're showing you is a user, and she runs her business using Wix Ascend and is using more of the components there.
Yeah.
Danny created a website for her business to tell people about herself, the services she offers, and the products she sells. Now, to attract visitors, drive conversions, and start upselling, she'll need the best marketing and communication solutions for her site. Wix Chat is already pre-installed, so she can connect with her visitors in real time. She wants them to feel engaged, even when she's not available, so she sets up this automated greeting to welcome visitors to her site. She also sets up more sophisticated automations, so while she's busy running workshops, her website can keep turning visitors into valuable leads. All she has to do is set the trigger, the action, and the timing. Danny's chosen email as her action here. All these professional email templates are designed to maximize conversions. Danny chooses the template that suits her needs, then uses drag and drop to add her text, images, and videos. Danny also wants to bring new visitors from social media, so right from her site dashboard, she customizes eye-catching social posts and shares them on her favorite social channels. Sometimes, Danny needs more than an image to promote her business, so with Wix Video Maker, she creates impressive promo videos and shares them directly to YouTube. For a wider reach, she takes advantage of Wix's seamless integration with Facebook and Google to create targeted ads and monitor how people interact with her site. This helps her make smart business decisions and optimize future marketing efforts. After seeing one of her video campaigns, Julie visits Danny's site for the first time. She receives the automated chat greeting that Danny set up
Then she contacts Danny to learn more about her services. Danny gets a notification on her phone and responds right away. She helps Julie book a workshop and then collects the info she needs to give Julie excellent customer service. Every conversation is automatically saved in Danny's inbox, and she can manage all of her contact info here too, adding notes and labels like this. After Julie's enjoyed her workshop, Danny sends her a professional invoice so she can pay in a click. Just like that, Julie's transitioned from a site visitor to a paying customer. And because she wants to boost retention, Danny uses this quick action keyboard to easily send Julie a discount coupon for her next booking. Now it's holiday season, and Danny wants to promote a seasonal sale, so she creates a professional email marketing campaign. Wix's email marketing solution is synced with Danny's contact list, so she can easily manage her mailing lists, targeting all her contacts or just a select group. Danny's now figured out what works best for her business, so she uses workflows to create her own personal sales funnel. She uses this flow to convert more site visitors like Julie into loyal, paying customers. Here she can track, manage, and automate each customer journey in one place. Ascend by Wix is your all-in-one business solution. With a suite of integrated tools, you can meet every business need right from your site dashboard.
Man, we are really proud about introducing this product today. One product, business logic, all the functions you need to run your business online. Avishai, tell us a little more about this.
So we saw here a huge amount of functionality, right? A chat with automated greeting, promotional tools to get more visitors, social post, video maker, right? The focus here is on converting visitors to make booking, to make purchases, right? This is really to drive your business forward.
So look, I mean, we've all been on websites, tried to contact the website manager or the website owner. There's no answer. That's pretty frustrating, both for the visitor and also for the website owner. And obviously, it really isn't a great business process. And so what's important for us when we built this product was to try and distill from the best in-class processes of the world and package them into one product and make that available, and we call that Ascend. Now, when I think about Ascend, I think about the core of the product itself. And the core of the Ascend product is the inbox, because in the inbox, we bring everything together. So tell us a little bit about this inbox.
So this is actually a lot more than a regular inbox. And it is the center of Ascend, right? So here you can see an example, right? I have a visitor on my website. And I can see immediately that I know this visitor, it's Julie. I can see that she's coming and browsing from New York City. She spent 5 minutes on my website, and she's now looking at the services page, right? On the right side, you can see everything I have about her. I see information. I can see notes that I have about her and tasks that I placed for myself regarding Julie. I also have access to quick actions, right? So I can send her an invoice or I can schedule a class with her. And the communication is something done automatically by Ascend. You don't have to think about it, right? If she's on the site, it will be a chat. If she's not on the site, it might be the email. If you look again in the main feed, right, I can see all the history of the transaction I had with her. So when she visited, when she got an invoice, I can check the invoice. I can see every message and email automation that I have with her. Did she open them? Did she do any action because of them, right? So the full history of everything that happened with Julie in one place. And here on the bottom, you can see that I have this keyboard, right? I can type a message directly, but I can also include different things. One of them is, for example, a product that I have in my store. So I just click and have the product in the message I sent, right? Customized perfectly for the media. Another option that I have, right, is if I want to give her a discount. So immediately from here, I can just send her a coupon. All of it without even thinking about the different products and different places you move into, right? It's all in one place, accessible now.
I need Ascend for my personal life. I've got my personal life over a number of email accounts, a number of different places. And so the way I think of Ascend is this one great hub that brings these 20 products together and allows me to manage my business from one single place, right? And so, but the real question beyond managing my daily business is how do I promote this business, right? I know most small businesses struggle with this. And the reality is that Ascend also provides for this.
Yeah, so one of the most common questions we have from our users is that, okay, I have a great website. What do I do next? How do I get traffic? How do I get users to my website, right? And Ascend also helps you a lot with that. And I'm going to give you just a couple of examples for how complete the marketing solution with Ascend is. First is that, well, if you want to promote yourself, right, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, you probably need a video, right? And do you know how hard it is to create a video?
I wouldn't even know where to start to make a video.
Well, because you need, right, you need a script, you need a director, you need a really good lights and everything. It's really hard to do. With Ascend, right, you can make a video in 3 steps. We're going to take your images, okay, and this very sophisticated AI will create a video out of it, right? And you can just start using that, so you can promote yourself wherever you want.
Okay, so video's fine, right? But I want people to come to my site. So tell me, what have you done for with SEO?
So we have the SEO wizard, right? Normally, SEO is a very exact science, and if you ask most people, very few of them will know what it actually even means, right? So we have the SEO wizard. It's a very simple wizard where you go and ask you details about your business, you fill the details about your business, and it does everything for you. An incredible fact about it is that 70% of our users that finish the SEO wizard, 70% of them will be on the first page of Google, which is just incredible.
I don't think I could get to the 5th page of Google personally. And so and these are just 2 of the products within Ascend, right?
Yes.
So wow, that really impresses me. Look, historically, I know we've worried about the creation side of the business. That's where the last few years we've put a lot of our energy. But we do know that the issue with small businesses is they don't fundamentally know which tools they should use to run their business, right? The fundamental trouble with this is about discovery. How do I find these tools? Do I go into Google? Do I type them? You know, how do I find these? And what I think Ascend has done is it takes that anxiety away. You no longer have to go look, but in one stop, one package, you have all these products to do it. So intuitively, I think this product's a winner. But of course, it doesn't really matter what I think. And what does matter, though, is does it make a difference to our users? So Avishai, does it make a difference to our users? Do we have anything we can show today?
So, you know, Mark, at Wix, we are fanatic about measuring everything. So, of course, we have data. And if you look behind you, right, you can see that it makes significant difference. But I want to focus here only on 2 things, right? First of all, on the chat. So just by adding a chat, right, with automated messages to a website, we've seen that we can increase conversion for actual booking by 235%.
Hang on. Just having a chat feature?
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, right? Because you go to a site and you see something and you want to ask a question, right? Can I do it with my shoulder injured, right? If it's a yoga class, right? Will you teach me that? Right? And just by having somebody who's saying, yes, I do, or no, I don't, try this thing, okay? Just that increases conversion by almost 2.5 times.
Yet most websites in the world don't have chat.
Yes, most websites in the world don't have chat. But now most of Wix websites are coming pre-installed with chat because of that.
Oh, wow.
The other thing, which is kind of incredible, is just by adding a members area to a website. So a member area will be a place where people can register to your website, right, and see their transaction history. They can save their address. They can save their credit card. We've seen that
you mean like on Amazon?
Exactly like you can do on Amazon, right? We've seen that only that increases repeat buying by 54%, okay? That's unbelievable.
Wow.
And again, the concept here behind Ascend is that you don't have to think about it. It all just happens, right? And Ascend really helps our users to become more successful in a significant, measurable way.
Fabulous. Ladies and gentlemen, Wix Ascend.
Thank you, Mark and Avishai. That was really wonderful. By the way, can I just talk for a second about how I've managed to turn this whole thing into a promotional event for my website? That was really, thank you so much for integrating that. Again, it's jasonfeifer.com. So what we want to do now is really pick up on what these guys were talking about a second ago, which is hearing from the users. That is ultimately the most valuable thing here. This is all about helping entrepreneurs. I know that is who I talk to every single day is entrepreneurs, and these are people who, as you all know, have to juggle a million things at the same time, and a product like this that can just bring it all together and seamlessly integrate it all into their day is so, so useful. So, Wix has brought in 3 users, aside from me, who we are now going to have a conversation with, and some of them have come from far and wide, and I think we're starting with the furthest. So we're going to bring up 3. We're going to have a conversation here about their own experiences running their businesses and their websites. So first, please welcome to the stage, all the way from Nepal, Matt Gardner. He is the head chief of Hearts and Tears, a unique motorcycle tour company in the Himalayas. Mark, please come to the stage. Matt. He's like, who's Mark? I don't know. Was there another Mark that was flown in from Nepal? Matt.
That's me.
Thank you so much.
No.
And we have the card here, and I still screwed it up. So let's see if we can go 2 for 2 at least. Next, please welcome to the stage Jen. Nick and Jen is the founder and CEO of The Chef and the Dish, an online marketplace for cooking classes from chefs around the world, all the way from Canada. Jen. And finally, Crystal Etienne, founder and CEO of Panty Prop, an online store selling innovative personal hygiene products, all the way from New York City, the furthest to travel. Crystal, welcome. All right, guys, so I just gave the 3-second version of your businesses, so let's dive a little deeper into what it is that you do and how you came to Wix. You heard my story at the beginning. I had a terrible, terrible website. Wix turned it around for me. Now, let's start with you, Mark. Let's start with you. Matt, let's start with you. And explain a little bit more about your business and how you came to Wix.
Sure. So my business is called Hearts and Tears Motorcycle Club. We're based in Nepal, and what I do is specialize in fully supported, fully guided, fully amazing motorcycle trips around the Nepalese Himalayas. So it might be a 7-day trip or a 10-day trip. It's up to the rider, I guess. But it's pretty damn good. So when I first started doing these tours, which was about 6 years ago, that was kind of before the time of do-it-yourself websites and all that. But of course, I needed websites. So I guess back then it was pretty common to have your IT guy, your tech guy to build the website for you. Now, for you folk here in New York and all that, there's plenty of options out there, but for poor old me in Pokhara in Nepal, there wasn't too many sort of tech guys out there. There was one fellow though. He was an 8-hour Jeep ride away from me, and he was my Nepalese Steve Jobs, in a way. So he did my website.
Are turtlenecks popular in Nepal? Are turtlenecks popular in Nepal?
Yeah, very popular. Yeah, he sported one. So he built the website, but if I needed to make any changes to the website or update it, then I'd either have to ride on a Jeep or a bus for 8 hours, or I'd probably make a phone call. But that might be simply like, hey Steve, can you fix up this typo on page 3, or hey Steve, can you update this photo, or like, hey Steve, why did you get rid of the headphone jack? Anyway. So that was quite a frustrating process. But then Wix came into my life, and for me that really revolutionized the way that I could keep my business current and sort of communicate what I needed to communicate to sell my product, which was motorcycle tours.
Okay.
So yeah.
Jen.
So my business, I have chefs all around the world that you can video conference into your home for a private one-to-one cooking class. So we have chefs in Italy and Japan, Singapore. We just announced Thailand that you can have a private session with, and learn how to cook the world's most iconic dishes. And so my inspiration is to how I started the company. As I was actually traveling around the world on my own. I had left a tech company, and I was inspired to bring this experience, because I was cooking with people in Thailand during my travels in Italy. And so I wanted to bring the experience to everyone. And so I actually was using Wix to blog while I traveled. And when I came up with this business idea, I immediately went to a whole variety of different web platforms and played around and tried to figure it out. And with Wix, I just loved how I could easily take a design and an inspiration that I had in my head and easily just be able to drag it onto the page and see everything come to life. But the other thing that I loved about Wix is that I know just enough about design to get myself in trouble. And so there's something that I may not be able to actually put into, like I may not actually be able to visualize, but with Wix there's a lot of beautiful templates and just different options to make something look pretty. So that's how I got to Wix.
Thanks. Crystal.
So my business is not as fancy as these two at all.
No.
I had my aha moment to create feminine care wearables for people who are unable to use alternatives such as tampons. And my aha moment came when I just needed a website. I tried several, and Wix was up in like 2 minutes, I would say like an hour, and it looked beautiful. I was able to create a store. I was able to sell, and then every month it kept growing and growing and growing, and it was the only one that I could figure out to just drag and drop and just make it look beautiful, exactly to compete with, I would say, like the big boys.
Yeah, so I mean, to pick up on that, I mean, Jen, you had talked about design in particular, and Matt, when we were talking yesterday, you said that your original website was very, very text-heavy, which mine was too. Mm-hmm. Did you guys go through almost a personal evolution, discovering that you could build something like this, and thinking of yourself differently as designers? Like, what was the process as you started putting this together and seeing a vision come to reality?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
After I built it, I was like, oh my God, I've never done it before in my life, but I thought I was like the website builder.
It's a beautiful website. It looks great. You did a good job.
I mean, we've come a long way, but even back then, like it was something that I would have never, ever been able to do. I would harass my husband, who's here now, and be like, look, look, look. And he would say, oh, it's beautiful. But I would actually show it, and I felt it was something that I was really proud of. But I had no design background at all when I started. I've never built a website prior to the website that in my business that I have now, and I was able to do it, and I was very proud of myself.
And you told me that you like telling people, almost shocking people, that you're running such a successful business using a Wix site.
Oh, yes, I get asked that all the time. Like, I built a multi-billion-dollar business, and they're like, what platform are you on? I'm like, Wix. They like, you are? And I'm like, yeah. Freaking Wix. You should do it too. I really do, all the time. I speak and go places all the time, and I get asked the same question all the time, and people are really shocked that I am running my business. My business grew 400%, and Wix was right there along the way.
It's funny because I have the exact same experience. So whenever people go to the website, the very first thing that they say is, "Oh, it's so beautiful. Like it makes me hungry." And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Oh, yeah. Like who did you have?" And I'm like, "I built it. Like I did it." And it's a sense of pride that you have because you put work into it. But it is actually it was easier for me to do than I would have ever thought. So.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the beauty of it. Especially for me, because it's all about creating this experience. You're selling hopefully like a dream, I guess, that can ride through the mountains. And I've got that concept in my mind, and I needed to express that directly. And that's why, Wix is very useful because I could achieve that using that platform. We've got beautiful drone shots when you enter the site, and you just want to sort of, hopefully, when you see it, you just want to that's where I want to be. And that was a real game changer for me to be able to really, for me, not a tech kind of guy, but to be able to get my concept across. It was great.
So let's talk about some of the new products that Wix has been, because this is an event all about new products. you guys have been using Wix for a number of years, so you've been there for the evolution as things show up. Can you share some stories about new things that Wix introduced, or even some of the very new things that Wix are introducing that you're experimenting with now, and how that has changed your business?
Yeah, so, I mean, there's so many little things you can use to build a website.
I have a few.
Yeah.
There's so many, especially when you're like, one-person show trying to do a website. There's the shout-outs, and there's the email marketing, and there's the invoicing and all that. But what was funny for me, because once again, based in Nepal, and I was living there, and I was been there for 7 years, and I sort of lost this grasp of what the modern world wants. Like, you guys, every people, they want things instantaneously. You want to be able to buy things online with a credit card right there and then. And in Nepal, there was zero e-commerce in that country, and there's no credit cards really still. It's just all cash, so you're carrying wads around just to buy anything. But then I'm Australian, so I would leave Nepal and travel around, and then I would see what everyone sort of wants. And I knew that to keep up with, what we need, I would need to have, for me, what was a big thing was this online booking services that Wix does, which means that my clients could jump on the website and get all the information, and then hopefully without even talking to me, they can go and book this dream trip of theirs.
And what were you doing before there?
Before that, it was all manual. So manual invoice, try and make it look professional if you can, but a manual invoice, put a few numbers at the top, like 1,020, but it's not.
Never start at
zero.
It
was like the first one. And then I would have to do a wire transfer into a Nepalese bank account, which sounds really trustworthy, doesn't it? So...
There's a lot of air quotes going on.
Yeah, I'll put the rabbit ears down now. But that's how what I had to do at the beginning. So, yeah, to be able to modernize things and create that bit more of a trust with with Western clients, that was a pretty big deal.
My favorite is automations. When you're selling 10 orders a day, you can speak to every customer. But when you go to 400 orders a day, you cannot speak to all those people. So setting up automations just to let them know, okay, calm down. It's coming. It's here. Hello. How are you? It'll be there. How'd it go? It's that's my favorite. That is my favorite thing in Wix, automations.
Before that, were you like him, where you had to
It was
manually do
emails. The customer support was answering email after email after email after email after email.
That must have been a disaster in the inbox.
It was. There's emails all day long when you're, like I said, when you're doing 10 orders a day, it's very manageable. But when you get up there, it's totally different.
For me, it's been Wix Chat. So the Chef and the Dish were the first and only of our kind in the world. And so there's a lot of questions about how does the process work? What do you mean? So is the chef going to watch me? And so with Wix Chat, we've been able to, when somebody comes on the website, we immediately ask them, hey, do you understand how our cooking classes work? And, when we ask a question, we often get a response. And so we're able to then have a beautiful conversation with these people that are interested in cooking and want to have this experience, and we're able to help them understand how it works and give them the confidence that, customer service is of utmost importance to us at the Chef and the Dish. And so, they can know that they're going to have a great experience and they know how it will work. We've also started to use tasks, which is something that was just introduced. So this way we're actually able to track each client and make sure that all of the steps that are needed before a cooking class that we're able to easily check off. So this way our customers are always taken care of.
So I'm glad you brought up the chat. The chat feels like, to me, it's like the distilled essence of entrepreneurship, because it can be a crazy experience if you are a one-person show and want to be in touch with all of your customers. So you guys, you don't have chat on you, do you? Or
Yeah,
did you?
I do have chat.
Oh, you do. Okay, so you guys have all dealt with this. Yeah. So tell me some of the things that you have. Tell me some of the lengths that you've gone to. I know there have been a lot of sleepless nights thanks to customers.
Oh, yes.
Contacting you through chat.
When I first started, it was just me. I would stay up 24 hours. A chat would come through. If you wanted to know what size your daughter wore, I was right there. Like, she wears extra small. There you go.
And you were right there means like you were in bed and it was 3 in the morning and that thing.
Yeah, my husband goes to bed at 9 o'clock.
He's a good man.
Like
He's
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Where he would get mad is it would be on my phone. So we're in the car going somewhere. I'd be like, are you going to put your phone down? And I'm like, but the chat, they're going to ask a question. But it was just me in the beginning. So it was the chat is what helped.
And you had a goal of getting back to people in a certain amount of time, right?
Oh, yeah, like 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
It
5
was
minutes
a lot.
at 3
Now
in the
that I think
morning.
about
That
it,
is for real. 5
Yeah.
minutes at 3 in the morning.
Literally, now that I think about it, I was like totally insane. I don't know how I did it, but I did.
Don't know your husband did it.
But it's true, good customer service, when you answer somebody's question, it's important that you get back to them quickly. And so, same thing with my business. If we have somebody coming in from Romania or Thailand or India, you want to get back to them. And so you'll go to whatever lengths as an entrepreneur and a business owner to do it. So.
Yeah, I still believe in the automatic out-of-office reply. So the chat's you.
So you're not taking the chats at 3 in the morning?
Himalayas.
Yeah, Himalayas my excuse.
And you guys have done some experimentation, right, with the chats as well, seeing what works with engaging people. I mean, I think this is a really fascinating opportunity to connect directly with your customer. You are in touch in a way that otherwise you couldn't be when somebody is just on your website. You'd be doing those guessing about what people are seeing and what they're wondering. Do you have any interesting stories or examples of engaging with customers and how you've learned to really optimize it?
Well, I won't tell any stories because of my product, so I'll pass it over there.
So for us, we actually have a lot of people that have questions about specialty diets and things like that. And so we'll use the chat feature. People will ask, do you have anything that's appropriate for gluten-free or vegans or vegetarians? And so we can easily just say, yeah, absolutely. And then we send them links to products just using the chat feature. So it's been great for me.
And there was also some playing around. We were talking yesterday about experimenting with how to optimize the products. And so one of them was chat and how long it took to pop up. You had experimented with 60 seconds, 30 seconds, finding that exact right point. What were the takeaways?
Because when you don't want to bother anyone. So you're like, okay, I'm going to put it at 2 minutes. For 2 minutes, they're gone.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, let me do a minute. A minute, they're gone. So you're like, okay, I don't really want to do it at 10 seconds or 20 seconds, but 20 seconds works very well. Like most people want, what I've realized is that most people want someone to be there when they're shopping.
Yep.
Just imagine going in a store, like when you walk in, it's so frustrating when somebody's not there like to answer your question. So it's the same thing online that I found.
It's like you worry that you're bugging them, but in fact you're being helpful.
Yes. And on chat, it's much easier for people to ask a question because they're like hiding behind the computer to say like something nice or nasty. So they don't care when you come up.
I had one of those very frustrating experiences the other week where I called into an unnamed company and I could not get anybody on the phone. And there was no chat feature on the website. It's a massive company, you'd be surprised. And it was so frustrating. It was a simple question that I had, and they could have had my business. And so, I think you're absolutely right. People do want to hear from you because as soon as you open up the question, hey, how can we help? Like, here's what we do. Is it right for you? It's not about selling. It's about answering questions and being helpful.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing you can only learn by really directly engaging with your customers. So we have only a few minutes left. I'm curious from you guys. You've been using Wix for a long time. You sit here. You've seen what Ascend is and what they've announced, and you've been playing with some of it yourself. Are there any features that you're really excited to try, or that you've just started using and you're seeing a lot with?
Well, on Monday, I'm going to tell all of my customer support people that they can now just do everything in one. So they're going to love me. I'm going to take all the credit for it.
Yeah, I think it's the same for me too. This the inbox concept up there, that's going to be great because now still is a few inboxes going here and there, and to have it all sort of directed into the one place, which is easy to monitor and to know whether it's been done or not done. That's just going to make that life that one little bit easier, which means a lot in the end of the game. So.
For me, I think it's members. It's very cool to be able to look back and to be able to see kind of how that customer journey has come, and where they've started, and if there's other classes that we may be introducing that they may be interested in. I think that'll be a very cool one to play around with a bit more.
That's awesome. Well, everyone, please thank our users for flying in from far and wide and not as far and wide. Crystal and I are both right here in New York. Thank you, Matt, Jen, Crystal, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.
Thanks. Thanks. All right, we have a few last big questions to answer about Ascend. And to do them, please welcome Joe Polaro, the U.S. General Manager at Wix.
Thanks, Jason. I think there's just two questions that I know a few people have that I want to make sure we answer. How much does it cost? And when is it available? And what's amazing is we have answers for both. Here is pricing. It's subscription, monthly and annual, just like websites on Wix. It's a tremendous amount of value, I think, for a price that's very, very good for small businesses. This is the price we're going to go out with. Obviously, as we do on Wix, we'll be testing some pricing over time, but this is what we introduce it with. And Ascend by Wix is available today. So this is a product that's in the market now at this price. Thanks.
Can't get any better than today, right? So that brings us to the end of the program. Here is what I would love you to do. First, drink, be merry, enjoy. Also, in the back there are 6 stations where entrepreneurs who are using Wix have set up to show you their websites and talk to you about their experiences. The 3 that joined me on stage, as well as 3 more. So please go back there, enjoy, and thank you for coming tonight. All right.